well, like you mentioned, after Gills came the move to Crawley Town, a transfer that brought both you and the team huge success. How
Hmm.
do you look back on last season?
Um, my best season in my career so far. Um, Probably both on the pitch and probably both off the pitch, which again is probably a key reason as to why we were successful and why we got promoted. Because I think at times you could see how close the group was off the pitch, and it really showed at times with some of the football that we played. Again, it got me back in love with the game again, with the style of play. And although we play for success, I even said halfway through the season, I said it's not even about the success for me. This is how I want to play the game. I was back enjoying football, and I think that showed with a group of lads, everyone enjoying themselves, and that is why in the end, in those pressure moments, that really we just stripped it back and just enjoyed the games, especially the playoffs where it is so tense, and we just enjoyed ourselves and end up coming out on top.
Yeah. The manager behind all of this was obviously Scott Lindsay.
Mm.
What's he like as both a man and also to play for?
Intense, great man, open to chat at any point. My granddad actually passed last season during the season, and we had his funeral on a Friday because they couldn't get it on a Wednesday, which is normally how we try and do sort of big family events, I suppose. Not that a funeral is well, it is an event, it's a celebration, but we try and get it on my day off. But unfortunately, we couldn't, so he allowed me the day off to go to my granddad's funeral on probably bar match day, probably the most important day of the week in terms of setting your team up. But he's also so intense with the way he tactically sets the team up that even on a Monday when you're sort of doing like a second day recovery, as most teams do on a Monday, he's straight in, forgetting the Saturday gone. He's straight in working on the Saturday ahead. So you've done all your prep throughout the week, and he sort of readied the week, ready for me to not be there on a Friday. And that's just sort of one example, really. But it's an example that's close to home that he shows that sort of human side, I suppose, away from football, that he allows you to go and do that. But yeah, I think he's tactically probably well ahead of any managers I'd had before that season, really.
Yeah. And the recruitment was unbelievable, wasn't it? Plucking these gems and
Mm.
from out of nowhere. What was the key behind that? Who was kind of driving that recruitment at Crawley?
Um, I think the owners do have a big say in it. I think it's well documented that they're quite data driven, but I think you can't go away from the final decision is Scott, especially from my experience where I actually was trying not to go to Crawley before I went there. I was trying to go on loan somewhere else, and basically Gillingham wouldn't let me go on loan, which is fair enough. They needed me off the book, so I ended up taking a risk, I suppose, and going to Crawley. But once I'd met Scott and he had his iPad and he had sheets of paper out, we were having a coffee in a shopping centre somewhere, and he had it all laid out over the table. He said, "This is where I see you. This is how we'll play." He said, "We're going to have the most possession in the league. We'll have the most passes." And he sort of gripped me straight away. And I thought, you know what, this as a chance, as me taking a risk, this is probably going to be the easiest risk I'll take in my career. And thankfully for me, I took that jump. And I suppose thankfully for Crawley as well, I probably don't do myself enough justice at times where I feel like I played a big part in my role was a big part in the success of the season as well. So it matched both ends really.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I mean, you just have to, there are not many players that leave, and then go back so soon after and get the sort of reception that you did. I mean,
Yeah,
football has a funny way of writing script sometimes, doesn't it? That you got drawn against Crawley away
yeah.
uh, as a Swindon Town player, and the reception that you got was unbelievable. And I know the fans still love you to this day. So that's a testament to everything you've
Mm.
done at the club, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and it was amazing. I thought I would get a nice reception, but I wasn't expecting. Um, I mean, it got to the 90th minute and they'd scored two quick goals and the game was dead. It was 4-2, and we were never getting back in it after getting ourselves back in it. And out of nowhere, I just hear my song ring around the stadium, and it was a touch of class from them, and it was really nice to hear really. And I think anyone from last season will get sort of a hero's welcome, I suppose. when they do return. I'm sure Corey he probably got a bigger cheer when he went back on Saturday, having been at the club for longer, and him playing a big part in them staying up the year before. But yeah, I think anyone that goes back will get a good reception, and yeah, hopefully I can go back and play in front of them again one day. And yeah, it's a nice relationship, I suppose, to have.
Yeah. Like we said, it was a fantastic promotion winning season. Was there a sense of, as you was obviously, going through the process of the playoffs and as you got promoted, was there a sense from all of the players that squad would end up getting broken up and you knew that you wouldn't be going on to, play in League One this season, or did that all come as a little bit of a surprise to you all, once promotion had been achieved?
Yeah, yes and no. I think, when you've had success, you see it a lot of the times that teams do get ripped apart. Lads get opportunities that they wouldn't have got if they hadn't had a successful season. And I think we all really hoped that we would get a chance to spend the season in League One together, to have a right crack again. And I think once you saw a couple of transfers happen, I think it probably had like a slight domino effect, really. Players speak, and I think when you can see, I suppose, the side being ripped apart, it probably let them lads that were in and are in probably thought, hang on a sec, what's going on here? And you probably end up losing a couple more. But listen, the way they had huge turnover the year before and it got success, and look at the way they've started now, it might happen again. So you can't fault the way they do it either. So I think good luck to them, and good luck to all the lads that did move on. And yeah, there's no hard feelings. It happens so much in football these days.
Yeah.